Hello, welcome everyone to the DM and Download presented by the Dallas Morning News. I am Erin Bookie, the food editor, and today we have a very special event. It's a virtual food event with our friends from Gardenuity, Doug and Donna, and they have a special guest with them today, Chef Tiffany Derry of Roots Chicken Shack in Plano. So Donna and Tiffany will show everyone how to grow and harvest fresh herbs and peppers. And then Chef Tiffany will show us how to prepare a jerk redfish for the upcoming holiday. So this is a patio picnic July 4th festival. So anyway, today you will be able to ask questions. There's a little Q&A box at the bottom of your screen there on the side. And that's it. With that, I'll hand it over to Doug from Gardenuity. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Erin.
Thank you.
So my name is Doug Platts. I head up operations here at Gardenuity. Just wanted to welcome everybody to this pre-July 4th celebration preparation. It's going to be a July 4th like we've never had before, and Donna and Tiffany are going to walk through how to really make the most of this time. In a moment, our Gardenutity's co-founder and CEO, Donna Letier, is going to walk through planting a pepper garden. And then Tiffany's going to dig into how to create a wonderful meal, jerk fish. And then we're going to flip back over and create a spicy limeade and watermelon margarita, which sounds awesome. I'm a big margarita fan, so I am looking forward to this and tasting that afterwards. As Erin mentioned, please submit your questions. We love questions. If you submit them via the Q&A, I will then raise that up to either Tiffany or Donna so that they can answer that question live for you as well. If you want to find out more about Gardenuity, you can find us at gardenuity.com, as well as all the social spaces, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest and all that. So without further ado, Donna, I wanted to hand things over to you.
Thank you, Doug. And I am so excited about today. Tiffany, I'm excited to be cooking with you again. This is going to be awesome.
Super excited.
It's hard to believe that the year is half over and it's just about the 4th of July. I mean, what a difference this year. I mean, I think it's going to be, people are going to be cooking at home a lot more. And I love that we get requests all the time to share our favorite chefs and ideas on how to use fresh harvests from the herbs. So I think today's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be really fun. So I'm actually going to get everybody started. Doug said I am one of the co-founders of Gardenuity, and we ship gardens across the country. We're a Dallas-based business. And we really, as I said, love working with inspiring chefs, not only because of their culinary creations, but because they inspire us to not be intimidated and not to be afraid to try. I think the last time I got to cook with Tiffany, we were making really fabulous fish tacos that are now a mainstay and kind of a weekly addition to our family's list of things that we cook every night. But so many great things start in the garden, and we make gardening easy and accessible. So I'm going to actually quickly build, as we're talking, one of our gardens. And one of our most popular gardens, as you can see here, is a cocktail garden. And seasonal herbs change out all the time. And throughout this building process, I'll probably ask Tiffany a couple of fun cocktail questions. But each one of our gardens has been pulled together by a horticultural team. We've got plant nutritionalists on our team who really put what I call a meal plan together for each plant group that we send out. Each plant collection is carefully curated by the farm partners we work with across the country. And I think it's so fun to think about patio to plate, because it used to be that to enjoy the I grew that moment, you had to have this big sprawling yard. Well, that's not the case for so many of us. And whether you're in a uptown apartment or you've got this beautiful backyard in Frisco, one of the things that we do is we want to make gardening accessible to everybody, because the I grew that moment, when it manifests itself into a fun cocktail or a great lunch or dinner, you know that you grew it and it tastes so much better. But it's also fun to know that you're really part of the whole process. So every garden ships out from here. Our farm partners ship from across the country. The live plants, as I said, live plant collections actually ship like this, and they travel in this heat, usually overnight delivery, because we want to make sure all the plants travel safely. Everybody gets a grow bag. Your garden grows the entire time in the grow bag. And as you can see, we've got a Some Like It Hot pepper garden here. We've got a taco toppings summer garden here. And one of the things that's fun about these cocktail gardens is that when I'm having one or two friends over or a plethora of friends, I like to bring my herb garden or my cocktail garden inside and let it be part of the decor so people can kind of accessorize their own drink, whether it's iced tea or lemonade or a cocktail. So I think it's fun. Just like Tiffany will have people in the kitchen with her at home. Doesn't that make entertaining kind of fun, Tiffany?
It does.
If it's not too much of a mess, right?
Or if they're not in the way. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Yeah, that's right. So every single garden that we ship out includes pressed coconut husk that we call core. You literally put these blocks into the grow bag, they hydrate, and then you've got this beautiful, already ready to go coconut that is a great foundation. Then we have compost that's made specifically for everybody. I've already had mine bagged, and you get a little packet of nutrients with every collection based on what you're going to be growing in the time of year. So you open these up and you put it in your foundation and you give it a shake, kind of like the old shake and bake, right? And one of the things, I've already poured my primer in here and my plant food. You just pour it on top of your grow bag, and that just makes it so easy to get the plants ready to go. And one of the things that we really like to stress is it's the doing. You know, you can get gardens already done, and there's certainly some fabulous hydroponic gadgets out there. But one of the things that we think is important to reap these beautiful wellness benefits of gardening is you have to actually do it yourself. And I think that we just make that so much easier. So on this cocktail garden, it actually is including a beautiful jalapeno plant because I think jalapenos make such a great addition to any cocktail. What do you think, Tiffany?
Agree. I mean, I love a little bit of spice with any kind of herb, drink. It adds a nice flavor, but not overly spicy. A lot of people are scared of spice because they think it's gonna like burn their mouth off when they're having that cocktail. But the balance of sweet and a touch of spice, yum. I love it.
I totally agree. And my new favorite thing that I'll talk about a little later when we're doing the cocktail is making simple syrups. So every single one of these herbs that I'm planting in the cocktail garden make for a beautiful simple syrup. And whether it's a basil simple syrup or rosemary or lavender and cocktails, I think the cocktail garden for summer comes with some really beautiful basils and rosemary's, things that just really work with cocktails this time of year. So as you can see, I'm working with these plants. These are organic herbs from one of our family owned farm partners that we just think grows the most beautiful plants. And they're easy, they're fully rooted. So when you get everything, you literally will have your entire garden up and running in about 30 to 45 minutes. And then, of course, we like to send all kinds of recipes. We like to send how-to guidance. We even watch the weather for you. But literally, as you can see, this entire cocktail garden, which will thrive throughout the summer, is planted and ready to go very quickly. Once you get that hydrated core done, which takes anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, you're good to go. We also send you a water bottle, and we are big proponents of making the several of the feedings throughout the life cycle of your garden foliar feedings. So you get all these nutrients that come with your water, and you go ahead and spray it. And this is such a way to get your garden ready to go based
And
on where you
Donna,
are.
we got a couple of questions about the garden you're planting. First question, can you just touch on what the plants are that you're planting and how they're good for this time of year with the heat?
Absolutely. Pepper gardens right now are just love the heat. So because these grow bags are mobile, if it gets too hot, then you can certainly move them in the shade in the afternoon. So anything over 90 degrees, we move our gardens into the shade, but these are really easy to move. I've also done some onion chives. I've done some rosemary and some basil. And this one is one of my new favorites, and that is Mexican mint marigold from the tarragon family. And this organic farm partner that we're working with this collection, oh my gosh, everything is so beautifully rooted, and these summer herbs will thrive in the Texas heat as long as you're careful. I mean, I believe we send weather alerts out. So anybody who's growing with us is a member of GrowPro. So we track the weather by zip code. And I think I saw one that went to LA today. I think I saw one that went to our growers in DFW because I believe it's going to be close to 100 on Wednesday or Thursday. So all of the summer garden collections really are designed to match based on the weather where you are.
And if somebody was to get their garden this week, how quickly can they start to harvest? I know obviously the pepper plant might take a while, but kind of when looking at the different things you were planting.
You know what? You can certainly the chives need a haircut now, so you could put those on your 4th of July potato salad. The Mexican mint marigold, I could harvest a few of these leaves. The basil's ready to harvest right away. Now, I wouldn't harvest the whole thing because you want to let them get settled in there for a couple weeks, but certainly a few leaves can be harvested by the 4th of July. And the peppers, you know what? Each one of them, they normally from seed to harvest take around 85 to 90 days, but because these are fully rooted, you may start seeing peppers as soon as 60 to 65 days. Um, this one was planted about 2 weeks ago, and I don't know that you can see it, but we've already got a pepper on there. And then the peppers in front of us were harvested actually from a garden that we planted probably about 5 weeks ago.
And this is a question, one more question, just for both you and for Tiffany. What's an underrated herb and how can it be used?
Oh, an underrated herb. Mine right now is lemon verbena. Um, Now, I think that it is when you just press it together, the smell of lemon just comes alive. I mean, although my daughter said it smelled like lemon pledge, which kind of made me think, oh, maybe she thought of me as somebody who cleaned a lot growing up, but that was not the case. Um, but I love lemon verbena. I use it in water. I freeze it in ice cubes. I like it in my tea. But I also use it for seafood. What about you, Tiffany?
I have two. My absolute favorite is tarragon. I think that it is underrated. The flavors are incredible, and I love just finishing sauces with it. So if I make a vinaigrette, that vinaigrette with the tarragon at the end becomes my sauce for many different things. I love any kind of salad mixes throwing it in, and I will have to say my second favorite is dill. The many things we can do with our herbs. It just changes the dish. I think when people become a little more comfortable using herbs and using them plentiful, I think they will be very, very happy with the results.
Well, and I think that, not only do they bring some vitamins, but most of them are what I call a leafy green. So I think, fresh mint can turn ice cream into kind of healthy. What about you?
I'll go with that.
And on the 4th of July, even though we might not be at a big parade or we might not be watching a bunch of fireworks, we can add a little bit of greenery to some of our cocktails.
I agree.
So as I was saying, the whole garden gets set up very quickly. But Tiffany, I think, has a taco toppings garden with us and some like it hot garden. And I think it's really fun to let the garden inspire some of your creativity in the kitchen because you can always add some little nuances to something you're cooking. Is that right, Tiffany?
I totally agree. I think that when you grow something, right? Like when you take the time and nourish it and spend time with it, like there's something about the flavor of it. Like, and it may be a little bit up here, but it
Oh, for
definitely is
sure.
right here. I feel the flavor. Okay. So, when you have your homegrown pepper, you have that homegrown tomatoes and your fresh herbs. I mean, you are excited to cook. Not only that, you're excited to share those flavors because there is an attachment to that. You're like, I did this. So I think having home gardens is definitely the way to go for sure. And
And
yours is just so easy. I love mine. Love, love, love.
it is so easy. And you know what? The other thing is, I think that it brings those mindful moments because everybody I know is kind of full of anxiety right now, whether they're, trying to summer homeschool their kids or they're trying to figure out something that the media calls work-life balance, which doesn't exist. I think if
Yeah, when
you
you figure that
find,
one out, let me
yeah,
know.
let me know. But when I start my day and I go out and water my garden for 5 minutes in the morning, it's those 5 minutes that I'm present and I'm mindful of what the day ahead can bring. And I think that that routine alone sets the tone for the rest of my day. So
And
gardening
and
brings so much more.
and Donna, one last question, and everyone that's listening in, please do keep submitting these questions. These are great. One last question. We were just touching on sort of nurturing these gardens and taking that time to water. Obviously, a lot of people can sometimes overwater things. So can you just explain a little bit about how the bags drain? Do you have to put anything special in, or do they take care of themselves?
No, these bags were designed by a guy named Craig Harmer, a horticulturalist. And so they're really designed for optimal root development, but you can't overwater. And your garden will grow the entire time in here. So you water in the middle of the summer, I'm watering once a day. During other months, it might be once or twice a week, but you can't overwater in these grow bags. And I think that the fabric alone allows the roots to be oxygenated, which is really great for the health of your garden. And the better the root system and the better the soil, then the better the harvest up on top. So all the science that's gone into here, I love. And I learn something new every single day. Just like when I watch a chef like Tiffany, I learn a new technique every single day. And I think cooking and gardening is one of these things that people are really saying, okay, I can do that. And it's good. And it brings so much more than just the meal or just the harvest. It evokes conversation. And I think that's one of the gifts that people have found over the last few months. So, Tiffany, I'm actually, unless there's any other questions, Doug, I'm going to hand it over to Tiffany and we're going to start cooking. And I'm excited.
Yes.
Over to Chef Tiffany.
All
Yes.
right. Well, I'll take it on. Donna, you know what? I completely agree with you about the fact of gardening and cooking. We have no food to cook if no one is growing anything. And I feel
Right.
like we all need to be eating fresh. And the idea of knowing where your food comes from, the idea of knowing what's put into your soil, knowing that it's organic, knowing all of these things is so important for our body. So I just want to make sure I say that. But I have something special for everyone today. I am preparing jerk fish. So I'm not sure how many people are familiar with jerk fish or jerk anything. If you've had some great experiences, definitely shout us out. Let us know. Let us know where you got it from so I can go check it out, even if it's out of country. Jerk is special. So every household has that jerk recipe. It reminds me of gumbo, right? Like every grandmother, every household has their favorite gumbo recipe. If you're in other parts of Southeast Asia, maybe it is, curries. Every household has their flavor profiles that they like. So I remember, I think where was I? Gosh, I hate when I don't know the story fully. But I remember I was by some water. Like, I don't know where I was on my first visit. And I had jerk chicken, and it was open fire. It was one of my favorite jerk chicken recipes that I ever tasted. And it had the right amount of spice, and it had like a little tingling situation going on. And I said, oh my gosh, tell me more about this jerk chicken. And I was talking to the lady who was cooking, someone's grandmother, and we were going through all the flavors. And I opened Private Social, and I wanted to do a fish recipe instead of chicken because I felt like chicken was very traditional a lot of times, and you're stuck with your idea of what that should be like and taste like if you had a great one. So I did a jerk fish. And one of the things that I realized is that in jerk chicken, there's a lot of hard spices. Spices like allspice, I put cumin, nutmeg. Allspice is really your main seasoning, if you would, like a warm spice in it. But fish is more delicate. So we have to kind of pull back from those flavors. And normally it's done with dried herbs. And I prefer to use the fresh herbs. The fish cooks quicker. The herb flavor really penetrates. The spices, all of that comes together a little bit quicker in this particular recipe. So definitely, I want everyone to give this a try because it is my favorite. Garlic. I don't do canned. I don't do garlic in water. Like, we cannot do that. Let's do better. Okay, so this little bulb of garlic is very inexpensive. And if you don't use it often, it lasts quite a while. One of the ways to do it, I want to make sure I show you how to do it because most people don't know. I take my garlic bulb and a towel or a pan. If you're feeling a little irritated with life, you can take that pan and pop it right on. And what that does is it loosens up all the bulbs. So what needs to happen now is I take my knife, and again, I'm feeling a little aggression today. I pop it down, and that just relieves all of the garlic. I don't have to do anything. Most people say that, it takes some effort with fresh garlic, but that didn't take any, if you can see. I'm going to chop it up just slightly, and that's going to go into my mortar and pestle. This is my Thai mortar and pestle. I love this baby. And then I'm going to add in tons of fresh herbs, right? So whatever you have, you can get creative. I have some parsley. And right now in the garden that you have, Donna, we have some chives. We have curly parsley, right? Some cilantro I still have from my taco topper. And you can just have oregano, whatever you want. This is kind of that recipe that you can mix and match. I have some fresh basil that's going to go in. And also I'm using sort of the flowers as well. I put it all in. You could do this recipe in a RoboCoupe as well, or food processor if you like. And one of the things I love is fresh mint in here. You gotta put the mint. Don't leave it out. The deal is this can be kind of whatever you want it to be. So if you have more of one herb, two herbs, just make it. It's gonna taste slightly different, but I'm telling you, the freshness of the herb will come through. Last but not least, I love green onion in here, and I have to rough chop it a little bit before I pound it. Traditionally, this was done with Scotch bonnet, more of a habanero pepper. I didn't have any habanero peppers today. I have my jalapenos because we have a few. And then I had some Thai chilies in the fridge. So I'm going to use that. Adjust.
And Tiffany,
they're just guidelines, everyone. Just
Tiffany,
guidelines.
Couple of quick questions. Someone just asked, what did you call the pestle and mortar? Did that have a different special name, or is that just a mortar? What you're putting all the herbs in?
It has a name in Thai that I can't remember right now. But one of my favorite Laos restaurants called Nalien here in Irving has an amazing selection. It's a market and a restaurant, and anything that I'm missing, I just go and get that. So basically, you're beating on the sides, and as you're coming down, just like a normal or a Mexican mortar and pestle, it will just kind of crush it. And that's what I want to do. So I'm going to do that with all of my chilies. And I get it. Do you
wash the herbs beforehand, and how far in advance do you cut them and dry them?
Dry them?
So when you cut the herbs, do you dry them beforehand? Are they just freshly cut? Do you wash them? No, anything to prepare?
Everything that I'm using has already been washed and cleaned and dried.
Mm-hmm.
I would not take wet herbs and put it into here because one, it's going to start changing sort of the texture of it. And as we're kind of bruising in an idea, breaking it down, I don't want it to turn black. So you really want to use herbs that look good, If you're gonna put it in a mortar or in a actual food processor, then you can get away with a lot of things that maybe even be going limp or maybe doesn't look great in the refrigerator. It's time to go. Go ahead and put it in there. I'm gonna add some soy sauce. I mean, I am a chef. I'm fancy. This actually came from Japan. I'm just saying. Okay, so let's get into the hard spices. So allspice is this flavor that can't be matched. A lot of times people have it with baked goods. It is something of a warm spice that adds to the dish. Every jerk recipe has allspice. It is the flavor that you get. And it's interesting because you have soy sauce that is in jerk, and it just goes to show the influence of cultures that have come in and developed in different areas that make this pretty fantastic. I'm also going to add cumin.
I love cumin. So Tiffany, here's a little fun tidbit. People ask us all the time how to keep squirrels at bay from their garden. And there's a lot of different ways that we have on our blog, but one of the ways that one of our horticultural partners shared with us was to put garlic cloves in the dirt in your grow bags.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, so not only are we using it as a spice here, it can help the gardens grow and keep protected.
Okay, I'm gonna do that myself. I'm gonna go plant some of them. Okay, so I'm adding in lime juice, and I added in some paprika. I like smoked paprika the most, just to kind of give that extra flavor. Most of the times, guys, I do this recipe for grilling. So I would do this on the grill. I would take my whole fish and just kind of slather it with this marinade and go from there. But today I want to show you how to do it out of the oven because you can do it that way as well. And it is quite fantastic. I don't care what you put it on, shrimp, chicken, fish, lobster, it is fantastic. So you can just make a nice jar and keep it. I had a nice jar that I keep of like a little mason jar in the fridge for whenever I need an extra boost of flavor. And that just went in the face. Don't do that.
And how long will it last in the fridge?
As long as it's sealed, you got a good 2 weeks.
Okay.
It'll start. What happens when the air touches it starts to kind of oxidize a little, and you don't want it to turn from like that dark green to just brown. But you have so much lemon juice and kind of keeps it nice in here. All right.
Okay.
So I'm gonna show you what it looks like in here. We've kind of pounded it down. If I had habaneros, I would make sure that I pound sort of the crap out of it because I don't want to get a chunk of habanero. What I'm finding right now is the jalapenos are not quite as spicy just yet. I mean, they're still a jalapeno and they got a kick, but sometimes, you know, you can get one that will, woo! Okay, so for today, for this purpose, I have some sea bass, and I just wanted to sort of show you the sea bass fillets instead, because some people are nervous and afraid of doing whole fish. I love whole fish because of the bones and the flavor that you get from the bones. So for my family, I have a whole fish in the oven already, but I wanted to show you how you can do this with fillets. So I need to put something down so that it doesn't stick quite as much for the skin, because I'm leaving the skin on. The skin is delicious flavor. So with this, this is a small fish, so it's not going to take that long. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of salt. You don't need pepper because remember we have all that spice in there, and you don't need much salt as well. Smells good. Now we're just going to kind of sprinkle that and rub it in. You don't need much. A little bit goes a long way, especially since the fish is a little thin. We don't want to overpower the fish. We just want to add a touch of flavor. Y'all, I wish that you could smell when it comes out of the oven. OMG. So good. All right. 425 degrees, goes in the oven for about 6 minutes, and it's done. Okay? Popping it in now.
So I have a question, Tiffany. If you don't eat a lot of meat or fish, can you use this same seasoning on root vegetables?
Vegetables and jerk go hand in hand. I
Good.
mean, when you think about all the flavors that went into it and you put that with a high roast of like a heat in the oven with root vegetables or broccoli or cauliflower, I'm telling you, once you do this recipe once, you're going to understand why I love it so much and why it continues to come back. This is actually one of the recipes in the James Beard Foundation Waste Not book that I did on figuring out ways to use whole fish, transforming that into something else. The jerk recipe continues to live on because it is delicious, okay? So one of the things that I love to pair with the fish is a nice salad. If you have some boiled potatoes or yuca or something like that that's kind of starchy, that's great too. But I love just a nice clean salad when I'm grilling. So I have some peppers, and you can dice those up to a size that you like. I'm just gonna make a small recipe. I also have some tomatoes. So if you have some beautiful cherry tomatoes, use those as well. I typically love English cucumbers or like a Persian cucumber because they're crunchy. I don't have to worry about the seeds in them. And I add that right on in. Some red onion or shallots, whichever you have, works great. And for the kicker here, I am using hearts of palm. So some people may not be as familiar with hearts of palm, but they are the palm tree. It's the very center of the palm tree. And you can find them fresh sometimes, but if not, you can get them out of a can. Just give them a good rinse and slice them up. The hearts of palm has sort of an artichoke, if you would, texture, flavor that goes so great into the dish. Some fresh lemon juice. This is important. You got to use the acid. The acid is what brings out the entire dish. Not only am I going to do red wine, I'm going to do some red wine vinegar with the lemon juice as well to kind of sort of give it a different flavor, not quite the same as the lemon, but it helps. A touch of salt and some fresh olive oil. Anybody can guess what we're going to add to this next? It's a good portion of herbs. We got to herb it up. We have all those herbs. And this is when you can just use whatever you have in your fridge. I cannot stress that enough, that adding herbs to any dish picks it up. You don't want to overly chop it. Just give it a chop and add it on in.
And I'm with you. I love the fresh herbs. I think anytime you can do fresh herbs versus dried herbs, I think it's great.
It is. You just got to know how to use it, right? So dried herbs is something you would want to put in a dish to help. You need liquid. You need to reconstitute dried herbs. You add them at the beginning of the dish. Fresh herbs, a lot of times, you want to add them middle to end of the dish so that they don't lose any of that delicious flavor. Okay.
And Tiffany, one quick question.
Please.
For the jerk, can you go through what the herbs were again within that?
Correct. I did cilantro, mint, basil, and some parsley and green onion. You don't need a lot of either. You just want to sort of, whatever you have works great. This is what I had. And even in the recipe, I put that you can change it out based on what you like. You know, some people don't like cilantro. Don't worry about it. Don't put the cilantro. Had I had a little deal, it would have been in there.
Of course, you know what, the question earlier, what is a underappreciated herb? I think parsley is absolutely underappreciated. I think it just grows and grows and grows, looks beautiful in bouquets, and I add it to so many recipes.
Yeah, I agree. To me, I use parsley like I do any vegetable, right? Like it's one of those that will go in. I mean, we even put parsley right in drinks nowadays. You know, we put it in smoothies. We put it in classic cocktail beverages. We put it in our food. I mean, it just helps. It's one of those that it doesn't get a lot of credit, but it definitely changes the dish. Okay, you see that? Look at all of that herb. You see the tomato, the hearts of palm. All of those flavors are important because they all have a role to play. And that's going to make this salad delicious and crunchy and creamy all at the same time. The only thing I'm going to add is a little bit of black pepper. And my fish, I did a whole fish earlier so that you guys can see it.
So can you make the salad ahead of time if you're having guests over? How far ahead?
You can make it at least 4 hours ahead. You know, you can even make the salad 6 hours, honestly. You just want to allow it a little bit of time to marinate at a minimum of like 10 minutes. But honestly, the longer you let it marinate, the better it is.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's check on our fish. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, yeah. So some are afraid of whole fish. I get it. It's okay. But I love it. Okay. So I just want you to see, I went through and I just sort of made splits, right? And scored the fish and stuck that marinade in between so you can really see how beautiful those flakes are. And this is the same fish that you saw me put in for the marinade. Ooh.
Oh, it looks delicious.
Oh my gosh, hold on. You all gonna love this one. You're gonna love it. A little bit of squeeze of lime at the end takes it over the top. Make sure that you try out the hearts of palm avocado tomato salad. It is simply divine with that sort of low spice. I don't go crazy on the fish. I don't put a lot of Scotch bonnet or habanero or any of those flavors too much because I really want the fish to sing. I've picked a beautiful bass that is fresh and I don't want to overdo that. So a little bit of that seasoning there, nice big bowl of salad on the side of that. If you want to add a starch, please do. But it's great for 4th of July. It's great for grilling. It's great for all of those things when you just want to cook a little bit and not too much fuss.
And it's great that you mentioned grilling there, Tiffany. So if you were going to grill this, how would you change the cooking process in any way?
So if I was doing whole fish, I would do the same exact thing, except put the whole thing on the grill, close the lid, and let that smoke infuse as well, which is the idea of what jerk is. It's the oil or the fire coming, and you're moving it, and that's the idea of where the jerk is, over coal, over hot fire. If you were gonna do the fillets like I did, I would take it and I would put the fillet skin side down on a hot grill, making sure you have a little oil on there too, and just sear it up. I wouldn't even flip it. I'd let that skin get really crispy, let it do its thing, put that lid down again, and then as soon as it's ready, it comes off, squeeze of lemon, beautiful salad on the side.
And so it's still in for about 5 to 7 minutes?
Yeah, it may even be slightly quicker. You just have to give it a shake. Yep, about 5 minutes for sure, though.
Yeah. Perfect.
Oh my gosh, I just wish I was there to taste it. Well, one of the things that we had talked about was to pair a fun cocktail for the 4th of July. And one of the requests that we get a lot, not only how to use herbs in special cocktails, but what are ideas for big batch cocktails. So Caroline came up with one that is one of our new favorites, and it's really watermelon with limeade. And I'm a big fan of the already made jalapeno limeade from Trader Joe's, some tequila. And here's a couple of fun tricks. We're going to go ahead and make one. We love using mason jars. We also went ahead up and harvested some of our herbs earlier and made some really beautiful, I don't know if you can see it, herb ice cubes that are really fun. Really fun to put mint in ice cubes so that if the kids are having lemonade or if the kids are having iced tea, it's really fun. We also froze some chunks of watermelon, which is really good in lieu of ice. So I'm going to go ahead. I've taken a mason jar, and one of the tricks that we do, instead of just rimming it with salt, we use salt, chili powder and sugar, a whole mix together, because the sweet and the savory really brings out the watermelon and the pepper. So we put some frozen watermelon right into our mason jar, along with a little bit of ice, because that's, make it nice and cold. And then we're going to add, and you can do all of this ahead of time, which makes fun for entertaining, big batch. So we're going to add a little bit of the limeade, and then we've pureed some watermelon. And so watermelon, I think, just is not underrated by anybody, but it's great frozen. It's great at any meal of the day. And we strained it, so we're going to add that in. And then we're going to go ahead and add this recipe that we have up on the blog. You can make it for 8 to 12. So we're then going to add some Casamiga Blanco tequila.
Ooh, yeah.
Directly in there. And then here's another thing. We made jalapeno simple syrup. And this lasts in the refrigerator, and it's equal parts sugar and boiling water with jalapenos. I like stuff really spicy, so we let the peppers sit for a while, and literally you just take a dash of the simple syrup, and then you cover it back up, and you've got a shake, and now you've got a great cocktail that everybody will love. So I wish you were here with me to say cheers to a lime jalapeno watermelon margarita. So 4th of July is right around the corner. What are you going to be doing?
I think I might be doing watermelon and jalapeno. No, you know what? We actually are going to have a really big weekend of to-goes at the restaurant. And then right after coming out of 4th of July weekend is July 6th, which is National Fried Chicken Day. You may not have known that. And
I didn't know that.
Shak, we're going to do a great deal of fried chicken wings, macaroni and cheese, green beans, and a taste of banana pudding. So it's always a big deal for us.
Yeah, that's a good day.
So I'm going to have to celebrate. I'm going to celebrate virtually with you.
Absolutely. And of course, the other thing, it's really fun when you're having these gatherings. And I just noticed on this garden that we planted a few weeks ago, there's a pepper ready to harvest. So it's really fun to be able to go over and have a guest harvest something right from the garden, put it in their cocktail. And then it does really, it's pretty, and it feels like it's, homegrown, homemade all the way.
Looks great, tastes great. We have some great cocktails. We have some great grilling that can happen with fish. Again, if you want to add chicken or shrimp on the grill with that same jerk seasoning, and please do yourself a favor and make the salad. So good. So good.
And one question a couple of people had is where they can.
Say it again, Doug.
Doug, are you there?
Everything.
Well, I'll just sit over here and eat my fish.
Thanks, Tiffany. I know lots of people are in the Q&A and they're saying how delicious it looks, and I mean, I'm jealous. I know that I'm looking through the Q&A as we wait for Doug and Donna to reconnect, and let me see. And will we be able to get the salad recipe from you?
Yes, I'll make sure that you have it post as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I know people are super excited to, I already had the jerk chicken or the jerk fish recipe, and I'd love to send out the salad recipe as well to our members.
Yeah.
And I had another question from Beth Ann, and she wanted
three or four couples. It just makes it fun.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay.
All righty.
Okay, yeah.
What was the question?
I think we lost you guys for a while, Donna.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was the connection, but it's totally okay. We're just glad to see your face again. And
Great.
Tiffany, back to this one question. Someone wants to know, is blackened or is jerk the same as blackened?
No, blackened and jerk are two different things. Blackened fish is typically done with dried herbs and more spices like chipotle or paprika, cayenne. A lot of those flavors that are then put on a fish, put into a pan to create more blackening, if you would. So a lot of blackening is more of a Louisiana thing. Jerk is more of a Caribbean, though they have some similarities, but they're a little different.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. And Donna, thank you. I'm not sure what you were saying. Were you following up on the watermelon question?
No, what was that question?
And this one is, I know since I lost Doug, I was like, oh my goodness, I have to intervene, but teamwork makes the dream work. Someone asked, any advice on picking a good watermelon? Person gets great ones and then every so often, but they get a grainy, overripe dud.
The best thing I do is I send my husband because he's really good at picking them, a lot better than me. I actually think the watermelons with seeds still in them have a better flavor, but that's just me. I wish I had a trick to that. Tiffany, do you?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think a lot of times seeded watermelon are sweeter. One of the things that we do is that we knock on it. And if it sounds hollow, typically it's a little sweet or juicy, if you would. So you'll see people knocking on it, you'll see people picking it up, and what you're looking for is a watermelon that, for its size, feels really heavy. And that lets you know that you don't kind of have that either watermelon that's not fully developed, so it's a little crunchy, not fully sweet, and that it's going to be juicy and watery watermelon.
Well, and the juicier it is, it freezes really well, so it makes really fun popsicles. So this 4th of July, to put popsicle sticks in chunks of watermelon make for really fun, natural popsicles for kids.
Love it.
I have to do a shout out for the morning news. Thank you. We love local journalism. We love being a part of what people get to experience every day. Thank you for bringing so many important stories to life. We love being here with you.
Thank you so much, Donna. We definitely appreciate you, and I know our journalists will definitely appreciate that. So to wrap this up, guys, again, I wanted to thank you both so much for doing this today. Tiffany, it was a pleasure to meet you. Super excited. I know you were in our building earlier this year because I saw you and I was like, oh my God, I her. And so it was a pleasure and super exciting to be able to do this with you today. And Donna, it's a pleasure as always. I've enjoyed doing these classes with you, and you always have something fresh to come up with, and I love that. For everyone on the call, thank you so much for joining us today. For future DMN downloads and other virtual events, please check out our weekly rewards newsletters on Tuesday. To stay up to date on new developments with the coronavirus, please sign up for the coronavirus newsletter. Information will be sent out on how to access that after the call. Also, I will be sending out Tiffany's recipes for her jerk fish and everything, the salad, because I know a lot of you were interested. I wanted to thank you all so much for joining again. If you aren't a member of the Dallas Morning News, we are glad that you were able to attend today, and we hope that you will continue to support local journalism by subscribing today. Tiffany, Donna, thank you both so much again. I hope you both have a wonderful day.
Thank you, and happy July 4th.
Thank you so much.